Yeah.
So I'm going to make this one gentle. And we're just going to sit in our chair. Give your shoulders a little roll. And get that sense of movement. So you're just sort of oiling them, really. That's what it feels like. You can really feel that that's a ball and socket joint by this movement. And then just to get the sense of the way the shoulders can move, hands in the air, and then turn it out. Hands in the air, facing forwards, palms facing forwards, palms facing out, palms facing forwards. And then take your right hand forwards and your left hand back. Okay. And then bring them back up to center and alternate. Left hand forward, right hand back. And you should feel quite a lot going on in the shoulders. Okay, so keep doing that, moving on your breath. So inhale, come up. Exhale, come back. I've got both palms facing down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. If you're doing this at home, inhale, you obviously are, but you can always, on this last two, look with your head and follow the hand that's gone back. Yeah. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Last sequence. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Okay, and then bring the hands back onto the lap. Okay, so we're going to do another lot of rolling. So I'm going backwards at the moment, just because we tend to be like this. So I think it's better to do a few more backwards ones and forwards ones. But we will do both ways. So as you take the shoulders back, really think about the shoulder blades moving towards each other. Yeah, getting a bit more movement. Nice. And now we'll do some forward rolls. So rolling forwards. Great. Okay. Now, just a little thing with the fingers. We do quite a lot on the toes, but we don't really address the fingers. So I want you to have your hands sort of like this, splayed, I guess that's the word. And then I want you to just roll. So at the moment, we're just going to push, first of all, you're just going to push into your thumb. So you're sort of rolling it. If that makes sense. You're doing that movement. Okay. And you'll probably get quite a lot of information or sensation coming back because we don't tend to work on our fingers very much. Now move to your index finger. So you're really keeping the other fingers spread and you're going a sort of over, it's quite a firm movement. Does that make sense? So just go for, you'll feel it in the tendons, which come right the way up. Actually tendons beyond the wrist here. So you're going to give them a much needed stretch. And of course, you might not be getting sensation, but I'd be very surprised. Okay, so now moving on to the middle finger. Doing about between 3 and 5 rolls with each finger. That's 6 of them, having said that. And now on to the ring finger. And you might find more sensation or lack of mobility as you move on to your ring fingers and your little fingers. And that would be true. But they nonetheless, in a way, it's why they almost need it more. And then onto your little finger, see what happens. Okay. And you might find as well that sometimes another finger wants to move at the same time, that they don't seem to individuate anymore. Perfectly normal, but something to be aware of. So I'm finding that with my left index finger, it just wants to curl at the same time. And you may have noticed that and then let that go. When we do the toe stuff, you get that happening with the toes, yeah? So a little shake of the wrists, scrunching of the hands. And then I want you to take the hands out in front of you now. So I'm starting with the left and pull the fingers back towards you. So that's going the other way, and the stretch now will be in the forearm. And I've said this before, so keep your shoulder back and down. Don't be going forward with it, yeah? Even though you're going forwards, looking forwards, don't be led by the eyes. Keep that shoulder in the shoulder socket. Little shake, and then the other way. So quite a strong workout. You're probably finding that there's a lot of stiffness. And again, that's completely normal and all the more reason for doing the exercise. And a little wiggle, as if you were playing the piano. In my dreams. And then we're going to do all of that again on the other side. So the stop sign, shoulder in the shoulder socket, make that adjustment. And then the other way. And let that go, little wiggle. Wiggle the other way. So we're just sort of rotating the wrists now. It's just as we did with the shoulders, doing the circular movement. And then think about bringing your hands together. Hopefully that's given you some information about which fingers are particularly tight and needing a bit more individualized movement. Yeah. So just make a mental note and then change direction, please, of which ones, maybe do it again and just think about which ones want to move in unison and make a note to just do some individual movement because you want to keep that range of movement, obviously. Okay. Now, just shake the hands out for a minute. And then you're going to bring your hands up, cross them over. And then you're pushing the palms towards each other. So just pushing the palms towards each other. And you'll feel that depends where you're tight. And then I want you to think about just bringing the hands in. So tight forearms from typing will mean that this is very unlikely. Keeping the palms together and trying to straighten the arms. This is obviously something I need to practice more. Okay, so that was bringing them through. And you'll find children are able to just let their hands go straight down like that, but with the hands still in prayer. Let it go and come back. And you need to put the other arm on top now. So what will be, if you've forgotten which arm was on top, if you're right-handed dominant, you'll have had your right hand on the outside, or on the top. And if you're left-handed dominant, you'll have had your left hand on the top. So swap and have the opposite. If you're right-handed, use your left hand now. If you're left-handed, use your right hand now. And push together. And you'll be surprised about where you feel that. So all up the arms, shoulders, back, all manner of places. It's quite surprising. Really pushing together. And then bring the hands through. See where they get to. Even less mobility that time. And then let it go. Shake, shake, shake. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Clench your fists. And then big inhale. And then exhale, let it all go. And do fingers, splayed fingers. 3 of those. Inhale, shoulders to the ears. Tight, tight, tight. Exhale. And then the last one. Shoulders to the ears. Clenched fists. Inhale and then exhale. Okay. We're going to give the shoulders a break for a minute and move on to doing some stuff to release the neck. So letting the head fall to the right, possibly releasing the left arm, which will take it into the shoulders, completely up to you, just moving the head slowly from side to side. And then looking up a little bit more, looking to the shoulder, looking up to the ceiling, looking to the shoulder. And then draw some circles with your chin, circles one way, and then circles the other. Feel free to move the jaw as well, and that will allow you to really work into some of the tendons. And then take your right hand onto the back of the head and look over your right thigh. So you're not tugging, it's just a gentle weight to intensify the stretch in the tendons on the left. Okay, and bring out back to center. And now let the head fall to the other side. So hands can rest on the lap, or you can let the right arm just hang limply. And it's the same thing, it's just a smoothing. I always think of I'm trying to rub something out on my shoulder using my ear. Backwards and forwards. And then changing the angle slightly. And then drawing the circles, move on to drawing the circles with the chin. And now hand comes onto the back of the head. Look over your left thigh. Stretch will be going into the back of the neck now. You may well feel the whole tendon all the way up the neck and to the skull. And then release. Hands coming out to the side, pushing away from each other. Fingers are coming back as much as is practical. So really imagine it's a very engaged pose that you are pushing something that's resisting. You're holding back these walls that are coming towards you. Really push and feel the fingers coming back as much as possible, yeah? So you're getting quite a strong, almost, you don't want to tremble, but working those tendons in the forearms to the absolute, quite a high level. Okay, let it go. And now bring the hands up. Bring the elbows together. Palms together. And think about raising the elbows higher. And then release. Going to do that once more. Hands come out. Hands come towards each other. Forearms are, it's almost as if they're Velcroed together. As much as possible, it might not happen. And then lifting the elbows up. Okay, and then let it go. And this is working the same range of muscles, or it's doing the same stretch on the back. Right hand's coming out, right hand comes across the body. Left hand hooks. Keep the arm straight. Think about keeping the shoulder down. Check you're not turning, that the torso is facing forwards. And the stretch will be, it's individual, it's just on one shoulder, but it's the same type of stretch that's happening. It's the same muscles lengthening and contracting. Okay, and then release. Give that shoulder a little wiggle. I didn't do the resistance on that one where you push back. We've done quite a lot. So now left arm's coming up, left arm's coming across the body. Same thing, think about the shoulder down, keep the left arm straight and pull the arm towards you. If you can't hook the hand or the arm, use one hand on the other to bring it across the body. You're aiming for a stretch in the back here. Okay, so as long as you're getting that stretch, that's the main thing. Okay, and then release. Okay, and we'll do a couple more rolls. Should be a bit more movement. Take hold of your chair and lean forwards. So we will come to some more seated poses, but I'm going to ask you to come to standing, and we're going to do some poses using the chair, which yeah. So I hope your chairs are suitable with the back, so we'd all come up to standing. And then the first thing I want you to do, still working the shoulders, is to, see me okay? You're going to place your forearms on the back of the chair, if that's possible. Get hold of your elbows, and then lean down, the head possibly coming between the arms, it doesn't have to. And this is a really nice, well, nice is a subjective term, but what it's doing is it's flexion. So we don't tend to get this movement of the arms above the head very often. So it's a great stretch. Okay. And make a note, you're going to change which elbow you're holding on to both elbows, but you're going to change which elbow or arm is on top of the other. But first, if this is too much, you can bend your knees. If it feels okay, you can go for having the knees active and the legs active. So you're pulling up on the kneecaps slightly, and that will really activate a nice stretch going on. So the whole of the back of the body is getting stretched. Back of the legs, back of the back, shoulders, glutes. Okay, and then change which elbow is on top, which hand is grabbing which elbow. So I was like that, and now I've changed it to being like that, which will affect how things are in the shoulders. And then come back to doing this. Okay. So on this pose, we're letting the head possibly and the ears come below the forearms. Normally as an alignment cue, you're going for ears in line with the upper arm. Engage your legs, pull your belly in and up, lengthen the spine. You want to have the legs directly underneath the hips, but I've just been able to step back a bit to get a bit more length. You don't want to be in a funny position where you're sort of leaning forwards. You want to have the legs directly below the hips, belly in and up, engaging your core. Quite a lot going on. Okay, and then come out of that. We're just going to stimulate the spine with a side twist. And then we're going to go back and do another one using the hands on the back of the chair. If that was okay, is everyone's chairs okay for that sort of thing? You've got an all right chair, looks good. Yeah. Okay. We're just giving a nice side stretch to the spine. And this is releasing the shoulders. We've done quite a lot on the shoulders. Just letting them loosen up. Okay. All right, so the next one, if you want to just watch for a second, is similar. I've got my hands straight now though. I've gone for having my ears in line with my upper arm. And you can stay like this, where you're possibly got the knees bent. If not, you've got the knees straight and very active. Or you can think about bringing one leg up. Okay, and then it's a balancing pose. And this is getting a stretch into the hips as well. Okay, so take your choice. And we'll all start with the same leg. So coming forwards, everyone all right with that? Think about where your ears are in relation to your arms. And then activate the legs, draw the belly in and up. And if you want to make it a balancing pose, I'm starting with the left leg, taking the left leg up and back, pushing into the heel. And balancing here. You might be able to go to not holding the chair with one hand, possibly not holding the chair with both hands, up to you. And then release, come forwards for a second. Everyone okay? Good. And now we're going to do the same on the other side. So stepping back, repeat whatever version you did on the other side. Okay. So leaning forwards, If you can take advantage of looking at the computer to check your alignment, please do that. It's almost like a mirror, isn't it? So just checking that you've got your legs directly below your hips. And then when you're ready, taking now the right leg up and back. I've got the foot flexed, so toes are pointing towards the floor. Don't forget to breathe. Push into the standing leg, and it should give you a little bit more of a lift. It's weird, as you push down, you float up. It's one of the lovely things in yoga, creating space, strength, and length. And then release. Okay. And come back up to standing. All right, so we're going to carry on with taking advantage of using the chair for support and facing the chair. The next one, you might do this without using the chair, it's completely up to you, is the one where we're now bending. So bending your leg, your choice which one. So if I face you, it's like this foot's flexed, these toes are coming towards the shin, and your standing leg strong, but bent, okay? And then you're coming forwards, and you'll feel this different places outside of the bent leg, glutes, see how you're all getting on? Looks good. Breathe, and areas that are feeling tight, obviously go easy with your knees. And then release that, please. And now we're going to do the other side. So maybe come upright for a second, little wiggle. And then ready to go, doing the other side. So. Bend the standing leg. If you want to do it without the chair, you'd have your hands in prayer. I quite like the support of the chair because it allows you to really feel into the glutes, and in fact it allows me to go a little bit lower. So bend my standing leg a little bit more and really get to work on this part, so glutes and hip. Make sure you've got the bent leg, you've got the toes coming back towards the shin, and that will protect your knee. And then release and let that go. All right. Next one in the sequence is getting hold of the foot or the back of your trousers, or if you've got a belt handy, you could hook the foot. And what you're doing is you're thinking about having the hips are both pointing forwards, length in the chest, so lifting in the chest, lifting in the head. Hold on to the chair, that's not a problem, to help with your balance. And the stretch is happening here in the front of the leg that you're stretching, yeah? That's where you'll get most of the stretch, so the whole of the quads, whole of the front thigh. So lifting, lengthening, all the way up. Okay. And then release. Do the same again on the other side. And be prepared, one leg you might have been able to access quite easily, one foot, the other one may be a bit more of a struggle. It could be a regular tightness in one side, or it could be circumstantial, to do with some lifestyle choices you've made recently. Okay, so again, get that lift, have the chest pointing forwards, head. Okay, and let it go. So last standing one, I'm going to swivel the chair around. And then bringing your foot up. So I'm starting with right foot, hopping my left back, and getting a stretch. So the stretch will be here on the front thigh and on the front leg as well. Make sure that it's a right angle or yet less, yeah? The foot that's on the chair, you don't go over because that will put strain on your knee. Think about keeping the foot down on the floor, so the heel of the standing leg, and that will give you stability and also get a nice stretch in the calf in the back of the standing leg just above the heel. So just wiggling backwards and forwards. If you want to, you can think about taking the hands up, taking the hands back, getting a little bit of a back arch in. Completely optional. The main thing is the stretch here in the thigh. Let it go. Do the same side. Same thing on the other side, please. Foot comes up. I would encourage you to hop back and just lengthen your stance slightly, because that will ensure you don't go over on the knee. That's the bent leg. And then when you're feeling solid, also think about pulling the thigh back so you're squaring forwards, yeah? So think about pulling, so I've got my left leg on the chair, so I'm pulling my left thigh back. It's like a scissor movement. And my right thigh just at the top. I bring them together like a pair of scissors. And that will change the stretch. And then going backwards and forwards. Quite strong. Now feel into that scissor movement. Just feel it as you do it. Where does that affect which muscles? How does that play out? So feeling from the inside out. Okay. And then let that go. Okay. We're going to go back to the first leg. Place it up. Not bending it, keeping it straight, toes coming back towards you. And that may well be enough. So it's a counter stretch and you're getting a really nice stretch now in the calf. Again, do that scissoring. See what that does, where you feel that. So right side coming in, left thigh coming slightly forwards because I've got my right leg raised. Possibly, if you want, you can lean forwards over the extended leg, which will intensify the stretch. You don't want anything on the back of the knee. And then release. Same again on the other side. So the foot comes up, scissoring. Lift, exhale, fold. Don't worry if you wobble or come out the pose and the foot has to come down. It's all going to improve balance, which as we're going into autumn, or we're firmly in autumn really, we want to be improving our balance. Okay, and then let that go. So I said that was our last standing pose. I lied. Because it is autumn, we do need to do some balancing stuff. So, sorry. Keep your chair to hand. Probably have the back of the chair close so you can hold it. And then I'm going to take my right foot in front of my left. And you've got the heels touching. They're really close together. And it's our wobbly ones. So see if you can come to just one finger, no fingers. It's going to be lots of little micro moves happening in the ankles. That's exactly what we want. And then you can do nodding your head, shaking your head. We're wanting to fall out of the pose. That's the intention, starting to get it. You want to be woo. And then if you're not wobbling too much, close the eyes. And that should get you going. It's got me going. Close the eyes and nod the head. And then close the eyes and shake the head. And then let it go. Shake out the standing leg. And do it all again. So swap over. And be prepared for the fact this is probably the more challenging side, the second side. So you'll start firmly hold on throughout if you want to, just to try what it's like with your eyes closed. Or you can aim to go to a couple of fingers, possibly one finger. See how you get on. And you will have days where you're more wobbly than others. So although we've done this before, if you're finding it tougher today, that's absolutely fine. That's this body, this moment, this day, this hour, in fact. So if you've done the nodding, do the shaking. After that, do the closing of the eyes. And then after that, do the nodding, possibly, and do the shaking. You all wobbling? I want to see some tightrope behavior going on. Very good, Michelle. That's the spirit. Come on, Geraldine, let's get a little bit more of a wobble on. Looking good. No, you're doing fine. All right. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so what you might want to do then is go on a cushion. That can make it really interesting. So you'd get the cushion and you'd go on the corner of it. Yeah, go on, try it. So you're going to have the cushion angled so you've got the corner of it and you put your feet on top of that. And that's really, I mean, I can't, you know. Let's see how you are now. Yeah, that's a little bit more of a wiggle. Looking good. Go on, try nodding your head. Wow. Okay, try shaking your head. Yes. Brilliant. Okay. So we've all fallen out of the pose. That's what we want. Good. And now, as promised, we will go back to sitting. So I'm going to do a chair pose, though, from sitting. So chair pose is really good for the lower back and the core. So we're back to sitting on our chair. And what we're going to do, you've got your feet parallel. You want the weight to go into your heels, okay? And think about, it doesn't have to be, but there's this idea in alignment terms where the ears are lined up with the shoulders, but it really doesn't matter, or lined up with the inner arm. So what we do is we go easy on the knees. If you can feel that this isn't going to be good for your knees, you could start doing a seated twist, yeah, rather than doing this. And on an inhale, so coming up, you're not far, you're hovering just above the chair, hence the name chair pose. Weights in the heels, bum sticking out, belly is drawn in, and this is very strong for the lower back. Don't forget to breathe. Slow, steady breaths. Do between 3 to 5 breaths here, and then release and come to sitting. Okay? So it is a strong pose, Utkatasana, or chair pose. So we're going to do that 2 more times because it's very good for the lower back. So do draw your belly in, and you do stick your bum out. On an inhale, off we go again. So try lowering yourself. Yeah, try sticking your bum out a bit more. Belly's drawn in. Weight is in the heels. Looking forwards. Don't look down, look forward slightly. Well, you just don't want to be cranking the neck. Okay, and then release. Feeling that? You'll feel it in the legs as well. So we've got 1 more to do, or you can just revolt if you don't want to do it and start doing a nice seated twist. So here we go, last one. Inhale, come up, sink lower, belly drawn in, breathe. And then release. Well done, everyone. Well done. Okay, and then from here, seated twist. So my feet are still facing forwards. Check that your feet are level. And then I've brought hand onto thigh and the other hand's reaching back. Try not to be tightened, try not to be, having that shoulder come high. Try and keep both shoulders down. Inhale, breathe in. Obviously on an inhale, but get that length in the spine. Exhale, turning. And use the hand on the leg for traction. Really think about your belly button going towards your spine and a really strong twist happening in the lower back. It's irrelevant really where the head is. It's the lower part of the back that we're wanting to articulate. One more inhale, lengthen, exhale, deeper. Great, and then come back to center. Same again on the other side. So get that length in the spine, inhale, lengthen up. Hand comes onto the leg, so opposite leg. Reach back behind you. I'm going to do my head last because the head and the neck is not really, it's a sort of cherry on the top. It's not really the pose per se. Length, turn. See if you can just wiggle the back hand a little bit further around. Feel that in the shoulder. Length on the inhale and then exhale, just turning. Couple more millimeters. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Really think about drawing the belly in. So it's like a corkscrew effect. Imagine it's like a corkscrew effect on the whole of the spine. And then release. Come back to center. Well done. So we need to do a counter stretch now. So I'm going to ask you to have an imaginary ball, like a big ball that you're holding. Keep the arms like that. Come forwards. So it's almost cat-cow, but not quite. And then keep hold of your imaginary ball, a huge beach ball. Keeping hold of it. We're doing almost, like I say, almost a seated cat-cow. Exhaling, belly drawn in. Going back. Inhale. Pull the shoulders back, but keep holding onto this ball. Okay, let the hands drop and grab hold of the back of the chair. And then lean forwards. So you're really opening up the pectoral muscles here. Okay. So we've really loosened up the shoulders. I'm going to stay with that. This is an intense stretch. You're going to bring, so I'll face you. You're going to bring your right arm up, take it across, encourage it down the back. Yeah, so you're encouraging it down like that. And then you're going to stay like that. You're not bringing the other arm down and around to catch it. You're going to stay like this, and you're going to take the elbow back away from the neck. So draw your belly in so that the stretch is happening in the shoulders, yeah? Belly's drawn in so you're not flaring. So belly's drawn in so you're not arching the back. It's all happening in the shoulders. And you're pulling that elbow back slightly. So don't forget to breathe. Send the spaciousness of the breath to the shoulders. And then release. Okay. A couple of shoulder rolls. But we've worked the shoulders a lot, and they are a lot looser, and that should be quite, we're all tight in the shoulders. It is one of those, you know, they say everyone's different, and we are, but that tends to be, and you should never have universals, but in Ness, you're incredibly hyperflexible. We take all the strains of the world and we plonk them on our shoulders. So this one is going to be really good. So doing the other side now, bring the arm across. And because we've loosened up the shoulders, I think you're going to be able to feel the effects of this, yeah? Not just in your normal tight places. So it's the same thing. You're bringing encouraging the elbow across. And then once you've done that, you're then taking that elbow back that way, back away from the head. Belly's drawn in. See how that affects you. Just thinking about drawing the belly in. How does that affect the musculature? All up the back and the side of the body. The ribs. Okay. Keep pulling the elbow back and then release. Okay, well done. So it's very strong. Okay, that's great. And now I'm going to ask you to bring the hands in front. So you've taken the arms wide and then you've crossed them over and you draw a figure of 8. with your elbows. And then change the direction of your figure of 8, please. Change the size of your figure of 8. And then exhale, fold forwards, keeping the arms crossed, belly in and up. And just roll forwards. And then keep the arms crossed. That should be a nice stretch. Keep the arms crossed, come up, check which arm's on top. It will be your dominant hand. Take the arms wide again. And then do the other side. And again, figures of 8 with the elbows. And then change direction. Change your figures of 8s. And then the same thing, exhale, fold forwards. Belly's in and up. And with each exhale, the head and the spine just roll a little bit further forwards with the lovely effect of gravity. This is a nice hug for yourself. And you can feel the spine opening up. The belly's drawn in to enable you to roll deeper, and also it's to protect the back. Great. And then come back up and release that. So I'm just going to move the head from side to side. So the chin leading. So it's like you're drawing an amigo, which is a sideways figure of 8 with your chin now. See how that feels. And then I would like you to look over to your right, look over your right shoulder. And then very slowly look up at the ceiling. And then look as far over the shoulder as you can. So you're really tilting the neck and the head and articulating the neck just as we did with the spine. So back up again, looking as high as you can. Going very slowly and then back down to looking over the shoulder. So that's 2. We're going to do it 3 times on each side. So high as you can. And then back down. And then encourage, take your hand onto your cheek and encourage there. So make sure you're facing forwards and you're not turning. Yeah. So I would actually say hold onto your left shoulder, make sure that's staying where it should do. So it's like you're creating this stretching in the upper body really. So right hand is on right cheek, left hand is on left shoulder. And you're just looking over your shoulder behind you a little bit. So it's a stretch. Okay, and then release. We're going to do the other side. Before we do that, we're just going to let the head fall back. And move. So you're making like a C shape on the back of the neck. You're letting the head fall back and it roll from side to side. So you're taking left ear to left shoulder and then right ear to right shoulder. If you find somewhere that's particularly tight and particularly juicy, feel free to stay there and just move slightly, or just hold the pose and explore along the tendon. So you can almost feel the length of it. But you can follow that tight, taut thread in your body. It's almost like looking at a weaving or a tapestry or some interlaced ropes. So just like I said, if you find somewhere, do stay there and breathe and sense some spaciousness from the breath there. And if you, or is it all three, it's pretty equal. Just keep moving the head very slowly from side to side. And don't get disconcerted with the kind of gristly popping noises. Don't know how to describe it, but that's stuff releasing, so it's fine. Okay. So now we're going to look over the left shoulder. And we slowly look up to the ceiling, as high as you can. And then looking down over the shoulder. So we do this 3 times on this side. And then back up, really slow, exploring that range of movement. And then exhale, looking down over the shoulder. I mean, obviously we don't have that 360 degrees that owls have. You know how you marvel at the way an owl can just swivel its head. But it's nice to appreciate the range of movement that you have got. So last time looking up. And then exhale. Looking over the shoulder. This is a great one for releasing tension in the neck and reducing tension headaches. And then back to sort of looking straight over the shoulder, and your left hand is going to come onto the cheek, and the right hand is going to come onto the right shoulder, and you just encourage the head around. You're not pushing, it's just to create a sense of opening. Great, and then come back to center. Okay, so we are pretty much out of time. I was hoping to do the alphabet, so maybe you can do that in your own time, or maybe we can do a double alphabet. I think we've got time. So we'll take our legs out in front of us. So this will work the core as well, and off you go. Do an A. If you want to just do one leg, absolutely fine, as long as you commit to doing the other side after class. Off you go. Lowercase. I'm doing the English alphabet. Your shout if you want to do something else. If you know another alphabet, you want to do a memory test as well, go for it. I normally say don't lean back, but I think as we've got to the end of the class, do what you need to do. And also we are using both legs. Do draw your belly in though, so this is core as well, yeah? Okay. Brilliant. Hope that went okay. So as we come to the end, I would actually like to just take my hands parallel and draw your belly in. So this is another core, and just come forwards very slowly. See where you get to. Let the head fall. So there's a release in the neck. And then draw yourself up. Imagining you're doing up that really tight pair of jeans, so using your core to draw yourself up. So if you don't mind doing that one more time. Exhale, belly in and up, coming forwards. And then pull yourself back up using your core. Fantastic. Okay. Sorry, I can't stop. I want to do one more seated twist. It just feels like we need this as a counter stretch. So hand comes onto the leg. Just look over the side. Exhale. And then come back to center. It just feels like we need it to release the spine. And then the other side. Hand comes onto the leg. Exhale. Just turn. Okay. And then come back to feet on the floor, hands possibly on the thighs. I'd like you to just scan through your body. So take a big breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Do that 3 times. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, like you're blowing through a straw. So a slow exhale. Once more, inhale through the nose, big inhale. Feel the belly expand and then exhale as if you're blowing through a straw. And now, no attempt to regulate the breath. Just feel the feet on the floor. Feel the individual toes. Possibly some aren't in contact with the ground. Possibly some are more than others. Maybe think of those heat censoring images you get. And imagine where you'd have a colour from a lot of contact. You're not trying to change anything. This is just observational mind. This is just observing. And then let your awareness travel up the legs, over the knees, along the thighs to the buttocks and the contact with the chair. And again, do you feel like you're tilting slightly to one side? You're heavier on one side? No attempt to alter, just observe. And then up the spine, go up the curvature of the spine to the shoulders. And then from the shoulders, travel down the arms, possibly your hands are intertwined and there's contact with the fingers, so awareness of that. And then back up the arms. So the neck, just tuck the chin in slightly, which creates space in the neck, lengthen the neck. And then I'd like you to think about what noises you can hear through your left ear. And then what noises, if any, you can hear through your right ear. And then think about the sense of touch. Do you feel a draft on any part of your body? Or heat? Can you feel the fabric of your clothes on any part of your body? Possibly you feel the eyelids touching, lips touching. And then with gratitude to that sense of touch and the way it allows us to interface with the world and receive the world. I'd like you to just open your eyes, please. So, thank you very much for coming, practicing. I hope that was helpful.